Mike Tomlin didn't walk away from the Pittsburgh Steelers because he had nowhere left to go. He walked away because he understood exactly where the game was going next. And now, following a path already taken by Bill Belichick, Tomlin appears to be stepping into television, not as an ending, but as a strategic pause, because this isn't retirement, this is positioning. Let's set the context. After 19 seasons leading the Pittsburgh Steelers, Tomlin steps down. No dramatic fallout, no public conflict, just a clean exit. Almost immediately, reports surface. He signs with a media agency, begins conversations with major networks like ESPN, Fox Sports, and potentially NBC Sports. This wasn't reactive. This was prepared. And when insiders immediately point to TV as his next move, that tells you something critical. The offers were already there, waiting. The obvious narrative is straightforward. Tomlin is taking a break. After nearly 2 decades of coaching, he's stepping away from the weekly grind. Film sessions, game planning, locker room management. Television offers a different rhythm, less pressure, more flexibility, a chance to stay connected to the game without being consumed by it. We've seen this before. Belichick did it. Other coaches have considered it, including Sean McVay. It's become a modern pathway: step away, reset, re-enter later. Simple. But that explanation is incomplete. Because for someone like Tomlin, this isn't just about rest. It's about perspective. When you coach for that long in one organization, your view of the league becomes internal. You see your system, your players, your division. But television changes that. It forces you to study everything, every offense, every defensive trend, every emerging quarterback. You're no longer preparing for one opponent. You're analyzing the entire league. And that creates an informational advantage. Clipping moment number 1. Coaching limits your perspective. Television expands it. Now let's go deeper. Tomlin's strength has never just been scheme. It's leadership, control of the locker room, command of pressure situations, consistency in unstable moments. But over time, even elite leaders face a challenge: message fatigue. After years with the same voice, the same tone, the same structure, players stop responding the same way. Not because the message is wrong, because it's familiar. And in the NFL, familiarity reduces impact. Stepping away resets that dynamic. It preserves the authority. So when Tomlin returns, if he returns, he doesn't come back as a continuation. He comes back as something new. Now, consider the Belichick comparison. Belichick's move into media wasn't accidental. It allowed him to reshape his image from a closed-off internal figure to a public analyst explaining the game. It changed how players, executives, and even owners viewed him. And when he returned to coaching, he did so with a different kind of leverage. Tomlin has the opportunity to do the same, but with a different personality, more open, more communicative, more adaptable to the modern media environment. That matters because today's NFL isn't just about coaching. It's about communication across every level of the organization. Clipping moment number 2. This isn't time off, it's reputation management in real time. Now here's the hidden factor. Television doesn't just prepare Tomlin for a return. It allows him to study quarterbacks deeply, consistently, across systems, and that's critical because the next phase of the NFL is quarterback-driven at a level we haven't seen before. Young, mobile, fast-processing quarterbacks are reshaping how offenses operate. If Tomlin returns to coaching, his success will depend on how well he adapts to that evolution. And there's no better vantage point than television. Breaking down film weekly, seeing how defenses fail, understanding how pressure impacts decision-making across different systems. That's not passive, that's preparation. Now let's identify the turning point. It's not Tomlin leaving. It's not even him signing with a media agency. It's the moment he chooses where to go in television. Because that decision reveals intent. If he joins a studio show, controlled environment, broad analysis, that suggests a longer stay. If he joins a more film-driven role, deeper breakdowns, detailed analysis, that signals something else. That signals he's sharpening tools, getting ready, because not all TV roles are equal. Some are platforms, others are classrooms. Clipping moment 3, where Tomlin goes in TV will tell you if he's resting or reloading. Now zoom out. What does this mean long term? For Tomlin, it creates flexibility. He can return to coaching when the right opportunity appears, not just any job, but the right situation. Quarterback in place, organizational alignment, ownership stability. He won't need to chase opportunities. They'll come to him. For the league, it continues a growing trend. Elite coaches stepping away, not because they're done, but because the cycle demands it. Reset, reevaluate, return stronger. And for the Steelers, it marks the end of an era, but also the beginning of uncertainty. Because replacing a coach like Tomlin isn't about scheme, it's about presence. And that's much harder to replicate. In the end, this move isn't surprising. It's calculated. Mike Tomlin didn't follow Bill Belichick's footsteps by accident. He followed them because the path works. Step away before decline, expand your understanding of the game, rebuild your leverage, and then decide on your terms what comes next. Because in today's NFL, the smartest move isn't always staying in the game. Sometimes it's stepping outside of it just long enough to see it more clearly than everyone else. This isn't retirement, it's a pivot. Because when Mike Tomlin walked away from the Pittsburgh Steelers after 19 seasons, it didn't feel like the end of a career. It felt like the start of something calculated. And now that next move is coming into focus. Television, not speculation, not theory, real conversations, real interest, real movement behind the scenes. Tomlin has already aligned himself with Sandy Montag, the same power broker who represents some of the biggest names in sports media. That's not a casual decision. That's positioning. Because once you make that move, you're not just exploring TV, you're entering it. And suddenly, the connections start lining up. ESPN, Fox, NFL Sunday, even NBC Sports, all potential landing spots, all interested, all aware of what Tomlin brings. Not just credibility, but presence, authority, the kind of voice that doesn't need to raise volume to control a room. And that's where the comparison hits, because we've seen this before. Bill Belichick did the same thing. Stepped away, entered TV, reset his image, controlled the narrative, then picked his next move on his own terms. It wasn't a detour, it was leverage. And Tomlin might be following that exact blueprint. That's the turning point, because this isn't about replacing coaching with broadcasting. It's about buying time while staying relevant, staying visible, staying in the conversation without the pressure of game day. And make no mistake, the demand is real. Analysts across the league have already pointed to Fox as the most natural fit, a desk role, a major platform, possibly even alongside Terry Bradshaw, another Steelers icon. That's not just TV, that's narrative symmetry. But here's where the tension builds, because coaches like Tomlin don't just walk away. Not at 54, not with his track record, not with his voice still carrying weight in locker rooms across the league, which means this likely isn't permanent. It's strategic. We've seen it with Sean McVay, who flirted with TV before returning. We've seen it with Belichick, who used that year to reset before stepping into a completely new challenge. And now Tomlin is stepping into that same space. The difference? Timing. Because the NFL is watching, teams are watching, and every word Tomlin says on TV won't just be analysis. It'll be a reminder of what he still is, a leader, a culture builder, a coach who never had a losing season in nearly 2 decades. That doesn't just disappear. So while it looks like a media move on the surface, it feels like something else underneath, a pause, a reset, a setup. Because if or when Mike Tomlin decides to come back, he won't be chasing an opportunity. He'll be choosing one.